All right, Eric Stromquist and Ken Smyers. Jerry, how you doing, man? We're out walking the floor. There is so much good stuff going on here, man. It's pretty darn amazing. What do you think, Kenny?
Eric, I think this is a great gathering of some of the best people in the industry, and it's much larger than last year. It looks like it's growing again. I think here's some of the leading minds and leading innovators in our industry, and it's an amazing event.
Well, I see Richard Newberry here, man, from KMC Controls. Richard, come say hi to us real quick. How you doing, buddy? We're walking the floor. It's Richard Newberry from KMC Controls, man. All kinds of good stuff going on here, man. We're just taking a walk, man. We're live on the screen, and we got to slow down a little bit because I'm so excited because we're going to this special booth over here called RestorePoint. But we're going to come see you later if that's okay.
All right, Richard. Good to see you.
All right, man.
Okay.
Louder, 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 louder. Okay, so we're back. We're talking louder. We're walking over here. It's all good. It's all funky. It's all fun. But, man, what a great show, Kenny. So many great things at the booth. And let's see if we can find somebody really cool to talk to that we don't know about. This RestorePoint, those guys look pretty interesting. Should we stop in and see them?
I think so. We're going to be talking to one of the leading players in the providing data compliance, risk mitigation for commercial real estate.
Let's go over and talk to these guys.
Well, here they are right here. Here's Dave and Scott.
Nice to meet you. Hey, Scott, nice to meet you.
Scott Tanner.
I'm Ken Smyers.
Ken,
Dave.
nice to meet you.
Scott.
Hey.
Pleased to meet you.
Good to meet you as well.
Yeah, guys. So listen, this is kind of cool, man. So tell us what RestorePoint's all about, man. I like the name, but what do you guys do?
So we're a data management company. The roots of our company were backup and disaster recovery. A few years ago, we decided to move into cybersecurity. So we standardized on Palo Alto Networks platform, and then we do analytics. So think about us as everything around data. We move it, we mash it, we encrypt it, we protect it, back it up, we archive it, all of those types of things.
Louder.
You're very, very cool. So, guys, we're going to talk a little bit louder, but, yeah, it's awesome. So all things data. And, you know, I see a word here that it really scares me called compliance. Yeah. Scott, tell us about compliance and why that's important.
Yeah, absolutely. So whenever I think about compliance, I think about it in multiple dimensions. So you have to think about your end users or your endpoints. You have to think about what's going on in the cloud and cloud-based services. You also have to think about what's going on in your data center. So what we provide is a solution that can actually handle data and compliance against all three of those components, so we can give you a complete view. So no matter what your compliance standards are, if you think about PCI compliance, you think about GDPR, any other compliance standards you might have to adhere to, that's what we can provide an assessment and report against, and then take it to the next step. So not just reporting, but also remediation. So if you happen to be out of compliance, we can give you the actual standards that we're going to deliver to, and we can actually help you get yourself back into compliance so you can meet those audit reports.
Scott, I know there's two things that were unique. Number one is you tailor your services directly to the real estate industry, where some people are general fields, you focus on the real estate industry. And I see something remarkable here that I haven't seen yet, and that is that you work with the three top cloud providers. You work with Azure, AWS, and Google. Tell us a little bit about that relationship.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So our platform is against all public clouds. So whenever you think about where your data might sit, what we have is people tend to pick one cloud or another. So you might look at Azure, AWS, or Google Cloud, which is coming on board now. But at the end of the day, what you care about is the ability to be able to meet compliance in any of those clouds and be able to port data across all those clouds. So our software and our capabilities are actually against any one of those services, and we can also extend our services into your data center if you have assets in there too.
Very, very cool. So Dave, I got a question for you. What is, I mean, because you obviously talk to a lot of owners, and what is sort of the one thing that they should know that they don't know, that you wish they did about data?
About data. So, you know, security and data, right? So we're, you know, we look at data as protecting it at the endpoint level. We look at it protecting at the network level. We look at it protecting at the cloud level. With machine learning and artificial intelligence right now, we actually can do a lot better, right? So what we do is in 30 days, we can tell you, here's your baseline of what you should expect in your network. This is what your users are doing, where they're going. And then we collect data off the endpoints, the network, and the cloud, and we compare it against what we expect, right? And so that's the big thing for us. And when we say the last piece of it is, if all else fails, make sure you have a good backup.
Nice, nice. So it sounds like it's very predictive in that regard.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and why is that important? Why is it important to have predictive data analytics, Scott?
So if typically in the past what's happened is you're always looking at what's gone on in the previous 30 days, previous 12 months. that doesn't do you any good because it really doesn't give you the ability to say what's coming down the pike. So anything that we use is predictive in the fact that you can actually determine what's happening, you can determine how to prevent that from happening, and then that gives you the ability to respond faster and quicker before something does happen inside of your network, compromises you, and you might happen to end up in the news.
Scott, I think there was an explanation I overheard one of your colleagues talk about, is that some people, when they do a cloud partnership, they leave it alone and they kind of forget about it. You guys make sure that that doesn't happen. You continuously monitor that relationship?
Yes, that's correct. Actually, our CTO, he's very famous for saying, if you use set it and forget it, you will set it and forget it, and you will never come back to it. So it's very important not to just set it and forget it, but to partner with a company like ours that can actually have eyes on 24/7 and can actually be predictive in that fashion and can have eyes on it for you while you run your business day to day.
Well, very cool. So I'm just meeting you two characters, so I'm interested. How did you guys get in the business?
So I retired from AT&T after 30 years, and RestorePoint was my customer. And so the company was founded 15 years ago by my business partner. And Scott was my right hand at AT&T for 20 years, and I recruited him to come in and be our chief customer officer.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So what have you found the most challenging about transitioning from AT&T to RestorePoint?
What have I found the most challenging? I think going from a bigger company to a smaller company that's much more nimble and quick like us, you really have to change your mindset because our goal is to really be adaptive and predictive in everything that we're doing. So we're using that data and analytics ourselves, which is actually cool and refreshing because we didn't get that visibility in our previous jobs. We were always reacting to the past. We're reacting to numbers that we didn't quite understand. Now we're in a place where we can actually do that and have an impact for these businesses.
Scott, some of the headwinds we face with people taking on technology partners is how long does it take to get started? What's the initial steps? And if you contact, is it 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? When does the customer start to feel the services that are provided?
So let me kind of walk you through the process. So for all the Realcomm 2019 attendees, what you can do is go to RestorePointInc.com. There's just a quick form to fill out there. You can schedule a free assessment with us. Within a week, we'll get you set up on that free assessment, and then what we'll be able to do is provide you an outlook and analytics based upon that within 30 days. We need a full cycle to be able to run that so that we can see you actually what's happening in your network during that period of time. But then after that, what we'll do is we'll stay with you through the process. We'll help you look at it. We'll help you determine what remediation steps are necessary.
It's pretty aggressive.
Yeah, very, very aggressive. So, golly, you guys just got me thinking, man. So I'm thinking about cybersecurity. We're hearing a lot about that. What do most of your customers not know that they should about cybersecurity vis-a-vis their data?
So the endpoints are probably the weakest link, right, when you think about cybersecurity, right? It's your end users, right? Clicking on things, going where malware, ransomware, right? That's what we're seeing in the industry. A product we use from Palo Alto is called Traps. And what Traps allows us to do is when a Word document opens or a PowerPoint opens, there's a sequence of events that happens. What Traps does is it makes sure that sequence of events and where it's pointing to is correct. And so even if you didn't have malware or some malware that wasn't discovered before, we call it 0 day, right? We can detect it based on the sequence of events that are happening, and that's a big deal, and that's a change from the McAfee's and the semantics that we've used in the past.
That's got to be hard to hack. I mean, for somebody to try and get around that, right? That's a whole other degree of security, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It gets into that predictive analysis. So, if you don't know what it is, why open it in the first place? So our whole model is to build a platform, use cloud intelligence in that platform to be able to help you with that predictive analysis. Yes.
Okay. Well, great. I think we're going to break. So thank you guys very much.
Thanks so much. Great meeting you. What's the website?
It is, I'm sorry. Yep. It's RestorePointInc.com. And if you're here this week, come visit us at booth 1909.
Well done. Yes.
Yeah, come visit them at the booth. It's a cool booth, man. I love your aesthetics. The color combination's great. You guys got some great stuff, man. Nice meeting you guys. Take care.